Hi, the other day I went into my YouTube analytics and I realized it's been 100 days since my last upload. I knew a solid chunk of time have passed, but not 100 days. Like, that's just crazy. So I decided it's time to upload another devlog. Before I start this video, I want to recap and show you where I left off in my last devlog. So here we go. We have spikes from ceilings, spikes from walls, spikes from floors, some sick slow-mo, death screen. We have some really ugly UI and base template for the shop UI. And that pretty much sums up how far I got in my last video. While reading the comments on my last devlog, I noticed someone saying, "Very good, you can maybe add some milk?" And the only response that I could think of was, "Consider it done." The aim of the game is to play a bunch of games, earn a lot of coins, and then go spend your coins into customizables. For example, a milk arena. Originally, I wanted to have milk pouring from the ceiling. I wanted to do this by using a particle system and merging them all together using shaders to make it look like it's a fluid, but it was way too taxing and distracting and it wasn't worth implementing, so I ended up scrapping the idea. After making the milk arena, I wanted to add another background, so I picked up my sketchbook, picked up my pens and started drawing. Soon enough, I came to a realization that I want to draw a cave. I wanted to draw a cave because caves just make sense. Stuff falls from the ceiling regularly, that's why everyone wears a helmet in caves, and yeah, kinda makes sense. For some weird reason, I wanted to watercolor this drawing. So I picked up my watercolors and just did some watercoloring. I was actually liking how it was turning out, but there was something about it that I didn't like. At this point I had spent like 15 minutes on it already and I just wanted to get it done. Just to clean it up a little bit, I went over it with ink and it made it look a lot better. Now that the drawing was finished, it was time to import it into Photoshop, and you know there's no better way to do that than use your amazing editing skills. And there you go, that's how you import stuff into Photoshop. I can't believe it. Now all it was left to do was to ink it again and do the coloring. I usually color in my drawings grey so I can mess around with the overlays and colors later, and it really speeds up the process because you don't have to recolor everything again. You can just slap on the different color overlay and it just looks nice. After messing around with the colors, I came up with these 4 backgrounds. I decided the one on the top left looks the best and would fit the best in the game because it's a lot more subtle than other ones and wouldn't clash too much with the falling spikes. The next thing to do was to make some sort of arena setup controller thing, and here's a little plan of how it's gonna work. So basically on awake it's gonna check on what things have players selected, so like what hats, skins, backgrounds, whatever. So if nothing's selected, it will just apply the default stuff, but if something has been selected from the shop, it will get the index number of the item and it will enable that item from the array. For example, for backgrounds, I will have a bunch of disabled backgrounds all parented to the arena game object, and depending which arena is selected, it will enable that object before the game even starts. So when the game will start, the player will be presented with the right background that they choose in the shop. Before I move on and talk about more stuff added to the game, I want to talk about an upcoming event. I have partnered up with other great game developers and we're organizing the United Game Jam. A game jam is like a marathon in games development. You have given set amount of time from announcement of the theme till the submission of the game, in this case 48 hours, and you have to make a game in those 48 hours. It is a pretty stressful but yet really fun experience, and I would advise everyone to have a go. If you'd be interested to participate, there's going to be a link to the jam page and a link to the Discord server down in the description. And now, back to the devlog. The next thing I wanted to do was to draw an actual spike sprite, because currently it's just a red triangle and it looks a bit ugly. So I did a quick sprite drawing and tried to put it in Unity, and this happened. Lesson learned, don't let stuff that shouldn't collide. After messing around with some of the settings, everything seemed to be working. Well, at least it doesn't explode. But on a real though, this is how the new spikes look, and I think it looks pretty neat. The next thing I worked on was the save system. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what save system is, but if you don't, it basically just saves your game. Well, you might know what it is, but you might not know how it works, so here's a rough idea of how my save system works. When loading the data, the save system will check if there is any previous saves. If a save file found, it will just pull the data and put it in the game. If not, it will create a new blank save file that can be used later. For saving the files, it will just get all the variables and just dump them all into a binary file on your device. I don't want to take all of the credit for the save system because most of the code was taken from a Brackeys tutorial and just adapted to my situation. So if you want to check out the video, the link is going to be in the description. Obviously, this game is all about collecting coins and buying customizables, but at the moment there's nothing to collect. So I hopped into Photoshop, made a coin sprite and imported it into Unity. To make the collection of the coin a bit more satisfying for the player, I used Unity's particle system to give it a little explosion. And here's a few clips of the coins in game. After adding the coins, I felt like I need to add some more customizables, so I decided to add some hats. There are currently 3 hats in the game: the crown, the Viking hat and the top hat. I'm planning to add more because who doesn't like hats, but for now 3 will do. I also added a button in top right that lets me switch between the hats while in game. It's just for debugging and I will remove it for the final release. The last thing I added to the game was rockets. They're homing missiles that just follow the player and explode on touching. I'm still not sure if I'm gonna actually implement it into the game, but it could be used somewhere. For example, if the player is just sitting there and not moving around, I could spawn in a rocket to make the player move around a bit, or maybe use the rockets in between waves to just spice up the gameplay. How I said, I'm still not sure if it would actually fit in the game, but if there will be opportunity to put in the game, I will probably do it. This is roughly how far I have gotten with the game, and hopefully with the next devlog I could release it so you guys could play it on your phones. If you enjoyed this devlog and would like to play this game, consider subscribing so you don't miss the release. Thank you for watching and see you in the next devlog.